Overcast night at U.S. Cellular Field. This is game number one of a four-game series between the White Sox and the resurgent Seattle Mariners, who are 8 games over 500. Thanks for joining us once again, Jason Benetti, Steve Stone. The Phillies are out of town, so we both decided to wear our red shirts today. They were sitting in the closet. The Mariners won 11 of 13 in early August to give themselves an opportunity to get back in this wild card hunt.
And Seattle is doing it with a lot of offense and some very good pitching. We'll take a look at what's happened this month. 15-8. They've scored 101 runs. The real story is a 3.57 ERA. They've allowed 32 home runs while hitting only 29. That's somewhat surprising, but talking with Scott Service, he says that it's been the pitching. However, a couple of guys are hitting the ball out of the ballpark. One of them is Robinson Cano. He's hit 28 home runs this year. And Seattle is not an easy place to hit him. Nelson Cruz has hit 32 home runs this year. And when he hits them, it doesn't matter how big the ballpark is. And that's the reason why August has been so good. Aoki has been terrific. We talked about Cano. Cruz, the same thing. And Mike Zunino, who they've been waiting for a long time, has hit 6 home runs and driven in 16 runs. These Mariners are 6.5 games back, knocking at the door and seemingly getting better.
Well, just after the All-Star break, the Sox lost a series in Seattle, but the Sox have had great success in this ballpark against the Mariners recently.
As soon as they get them in Chicago, they seem to dominate them, and there's no doubt that the Sox are happy to see him come in. Led by Avisail Garcia, he's one of those guys that keeps getting the job done. Here a little looper to left field. And Tyler Saladino, who's getting the start tonight. This is last year, turned out to be a game winner. The folks pretty excited in the infield. And there you see what Avi has done. This is the last couple of years. Avi hitting 344, 6 runs, 3 driven in and 5 walks. Tyler Saladino hitting 303 with 7 driven in. He scored 4 and hit a couple of doubles. So they're going to lead the way. Jose Abreu is red hot. It should be a wonderful series.
Sox and Mariners will play 4. This is game number 1 tonight. And we are just about underway from U.S. Cellular Field. First pitch is coming up.
White Sox baseball on CSN Chicago is brought to you in part by Toyota. Discover more in a Toyota. Visit buyatoyota.com or your local Toyota dealer today. Let's go places. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Illinois. Through it all. Audi. Truth in engineering. And by Xfinity. Xfinity X1 will change the way you experience TV.
Cloudy but nice tonight at U.S. Cellular Field as the Sox welcome in the Seattle Mariners, the second-place team in the American League West. It's 67-59. Seattle with its only visit to Chicago to play the Sox this year. They've already been here once to take on the Cubs on the north side. Starting lineup for Scott Servais, the first-year manager of the Mariners. Nori Aoki is at the top of the card, then Seth Smith, Robinson Cano, Nelson Cruz, who's back in the lineup after a brief injury yesterday, Lynn Zunino, Martin O'Malley, and Marte, the starting nine. It's the starting lineup presented by Kia.
The Honda City defensive setup, and now they're going to line up behind Anthony Renato. It's Garcia, Shuck, and Eaton in the outfield. Adam back in his familiar right field position. Then Todd Frazier, Tim Anderson, Tyler Saladino, and Jose Abreu in the infield. Deanna Navarro behind the plate, and our Lexus pursuing perfection starting pitcher is Anthony Renato. On for his third start. It's his fifth game when you add Texas and our Sox. And there you look at the numbers. Umpires, DJ Rayburn behind the plate, Vic Carapazza at first, Paul Emmel at second, and the crew chief, John Hirschbeck, is at third. So the smoke is clearing from the fireworks. They're waiting to get the appropriate time to start this one. And as soon as DJ Rayburn sees that clock turn to 7:10, we're going to kick it off here at U.S. Cellular Field.
And you just watched an umpire turn back behind the plate exactly when the clock hits 7:10. You see something new every day at a ballpark.
And there you go.
Riveting. Aoki takes ball number one through the smoke. And first pitch, as you expect, 7:10 tonight at the ballpark. Anthony Renato making his first ever start at U.S. Cellular Field. His first two Sox starts were on the road at the Cubs and at Cleveland.
What I think is, this smoke thing that's going on in the infield, I think they should enhance that a bit so the hitter can't see it at all.
You've been lobbying for that for years. 3-0 on Aoki.
Yeah, the only problem is if you don't get it over the plate, you can have pretty much as much smoke as you like. It's not going to work very well.
3-0 from Renato. That one's in there for a strike. The Mariners come in having lost 3 of 4, the last 2 to the Yankees, in which they scored 1 run, lost those 2 combined 10-1, and a game that Milwaukee came back against them 4 days ago. As that is ball 4, despite being a pretty solid strike.
Yeah, I would say that was right down the middle, and when DJ Rayburn sees that one again, he'll realize that he missed it. Take a look at it again. Pretty good pitch.
See the quizzical look on the face of Don Cooper, and the former catcher Scott Servais will take it.
Yeah, our Toyota pitch track said that it was well in the zone, but he's at first base. He swiped 6, but he's been caught 9 times. So he has not exactly run effectively.
Not a smooth criminal.
No.
Seth Smith with his 11 homers. The Mariners are 4th best in Major League Baseball in hitting home runs, with 175 of them, as Renato misses for ball 1 to Smith. A couple of SEC guys here. Renato out of LSU. Seth Smith, a former Ole Miss Rebel. He got to play a couple games at the end of his college career as a wide receiver for the work he had done, Smith that is, on the scout team with the 3rd team. He didn't get to play his regular position terribly much at the Grove in Oxford because the starting quarterback was Eli Manning.
I can understand where he wouldn't get much playing time.
Fastball at 92, 2 balls and a strike on Smith.
Smith has been a pretty good hitter in his Colorado days. He used to play mostly against the right-handers and did a nice job of it.
This is a lefty-heavy lineup for the Seattle Mariners. They've got 2 lefties on the bench as well. A very well-stocked bench for Seattle. 2-2 on Smith.
One break tonight is that Seager is not going to play. And he's nursing a sore foot, fouled a ball off it. It's been a couple of days now that he's missed. And Seager at 286 with 24 and 83 on the power numbers is a big factor in his lineup.
That's Kyle Seager, his brother Corey, an outstanding young player for the Dodgers. Into left center field in big trouble from the bat of Smith. Down the alleyway for extra bases. Here comes Aoki around third, and the throw is offline. It's 1-0 Seattle off the jump tonight.
That was a rolling breaking ball. Didn't have a whole lot on it. And Smith drives in his 49th. There you see it. It pretty much stays up there, and Seth Smith drives it into the gap. So an ominous way to begin this ball game tonight. Talking with Scott Service, he said, look, I know we've got hitters up and down this lineup. I know we can hit the ball out of the park. But the reason why we are where we are, and that's right in the middle of this race, is because of our pitching. He said it's really been wonderful, especially in this latest stretch.
Tonight they get an injured pitcher back. James Paxton will start the game just off the disabled list. And it's a short bullpen. Told you about the bench for the Mariners. They got 5 hitters on the bench, with Tony Zick going down to AAA today. So there are only 6 hands in that bullpen.
So there's a look at Paxton, and he just is a flamethrower. And what Scott Service needs from him tonight is a lot of innings to help cover up that bullpen.
Up and out, ball and a strike on Robinson Cano, who according to the wins above replacement statistic is the 13th best player in baseball, and he is having a magnificent bounce back year for the Mariners.
Especially with a guy probably going to hit 35 home runs this year. He's only fanned 78 times, so he makes some contact, and in this situation he knows he's got to pull the ball.
Very close, 2-1. Well, right now in the American League, the 3 playoff teams from the American League East would occupy 2 of the wild card spots, the only 2 wild card spots. All 3 of those teams at 70 wins or more. The Mariners are close behind, 67 and 59, 3 games back starting play today of Baltimore.
What the Mariners have to hope, yeah, they've got Houston behind them. They're only a game and a half behind them, so there's no guarantee they're going to finish second. But what they have to hope is that the East cannibalizes itself. I mean, between Boston, Toronto, and Baltimore, and New York playing surprisingly good baseball. They have to hope that as they play one another head-to-head, one of those teams starts to fall.
Left center field from Cano, and playable for Garcia. Smith tags from second, and he is into third on out number 1 tonight.
Avi made a pretty good throw when you consider that he did a 360 spin, and he got it there just a touch behind Smith. One of the better throws in baseball. In fact, last year he led the American League in assists. And Smith just getting in ahead of a surprisingly good throw. Surprising because he caught it on the left side of his body before spinning around.
Avi Garcia playing left tonight with Melky Cabrera out with a flu. Right center field from Nelson Cruz, and this will drive in a run. Guy hits the ball really hard and does so here. Seattle leads 2-0 on a sacrifice fly for Cruz. We're telling you about what the Mariners would like to have happen in the American League to get above those American League East teams, but the Tigers are bouncing back well. They won today in a sweep of the Twins, and they are in between the Mariners and the AL East.
I think the Tigers and certainly the Royals both playing good baseball. And that surprise team, because they traded everybody away, is the Yankees. And only a surprise because when they go down the minor leagues, they brought up Gary Sanchez, who you mentioned has an annoying habit for opposing pitchers of hitting the ball out of the park.
Yeah, 9 home runs in his last 18 games. He was in New York very briefly when the Sox played at the Yankees earlier this year. He went immediately back down, and now with extended playing time is just mashing the ball. Left field side toward the corner. Foul from Lind, 1-2.
Time now for our T-Mobile greater coverage of baseball. And it is Gary Sanchez. Well, all he's done is hit .389, scored 14 runs, hit 9 home runs, driven in 16. So it looks like the next great Yankee catcher is already here.
Well, and Judge and Austin.
Yeah, I mean, they brought up some good young players, but the Yankees have had a long and illustrious history of bringing great catchers to the major leagues and them hanging around for a long time.
3-2 on Lind. 2 in the first inning for Seattle.
I talked with Adam Lind, and he said it's not quite as easy facing only right-handers, and that's what he's doing these days.
Into the shift, Saladino playing short right. Throws out Lind. It's certainly not terribly easy when somebody's standing directly where you hit the ball as well. 2-0 Mariners after a half inning. IKEA, and it begins with Adam Eaton, who's had a marvelous season for the Sox. Then Tim Anderson and Abreu, the hot-hitting Sox first baseman. Todd Frazier has 3 of his 31 homers against Seattle this year. With Melky out, J.B. Shucks into center, Saladino batting 9th.
And our Honda City defensive setup. Now Scott Service is going to line him up behind James Paxton. Aoki, Martin, and Smith in the outfield with O'Malley, Marte, Cano, and Lind in the infield. Mike Zunino gets a nod behind the plate. And our Lexus Pursuing Perfection starting pitcher is James Paxton. Hard-throwing left-hander. Does have a good curveball. The ERA pretty respectable at .353. He's on for his 14th start.
Eaton first. And ball number 1, close pitch.
Apparently, the low strike is not going to be in evidence tonight because there's been a couple, and E.J. Rayburn hasn't called them.
You know, we were talking about Robinson Cano being 13th in wins above replacement, being the 13th essentially most valuable player statistically in Major League Baseball. The guy directly in front of him at 12th place, according to the Fangraphs edition of wins above replacement, is Adam Eaton at 4.5 WAR.
Adam Eaton has been wonderful this year, and whether it's setting the table or throwing out base runners or catching the ball. He's done a great job.
Marte at shortstop. That's a tough play, and Eaton throttles down for a leadoff single.
He was ahead in the count, looking fastball. Paxton is going to throw you a whole lot of fastballs, and this is a good effort by Marte. He takes one more step than he probably should have, and no chance to get Eaton, who gets out of the box quickly. Best he could do just was not good enough. So nice way to start the bottom of the first.
Eaton on with his 12 stolen bases. And Paxton with a foul ball from Anderson. James Paxton, in his last start, he was aiming for a complete game, got one out deep in the 9th inning. Then the Angels' Andrelton Simmons smoked him with a line drive off the elbow. It became a bruised elbow and put him on the DL for a couple of weeks. Paxton is back tonight after that injury.
Well, Scott Service talked with him, and he said he might be able to come back about a week ago, but he would be at 80%. And Scott Service said, nope, we want you back 100%. We're going to put you on the disabled list and make sure when you do come back that you're not favoring anything, because when pitchers do that, they get hurt. There's a look at former Major League catcher Scott Service, who spent a great deal of time in various front offices in just about every capacity you could occupy.
Through the right side on 2 strikes for Anderson, and Eaton slams on the brakes at second. First and second, nobody out of the first inning.
Paxton throws a curveball, and this one is not a good one. It's up, it's out away, and he takes it through the vacated right side. He had Cano playing up the middle, and they throw behind Adam Eaton, but he's able to scamper back to the bag.
So here is Jose Abreu. 2 on first inning, high scoring game so far. And ball 1 to Abreu, who's got a hit in 18 of his last 20 games. Two balls, no strikes. Well, this is already a stark contrast to last night when the Sox had their first base runner in the 4th inning and their second base runner in the 6th against the talented young Philly Jared Eichhoff. On the ground and through past Adam Lind. Here comes Eaton around third, and the Sox have their first run before their first out. It's 2-1 in the first.
With Abreu ahead in the count, he's just looking for something in the zone. He got it. It's a fastball down, and he eases it down the line. Lynn can't get to it, and Adam Eaton, with an infield hit to lead off the ball game, scores the first run. And with that first White Sox run, E-Click Lending has donated $100 to the Pat Tillman Foundation, supporting military veterans and their families.
And the Sox ramp up the pressure with Frazier, who had a whale of a series in Seattle last month and is down a strike.
That was RBI number 71 for Jose, and that RBI total is starting to climb. If Paxton doesn't show that he can get an off-speed pitch over the plate, it's not going to be a long evening for him.
We're talking about the RBI total for Abreu. 107 his first year, 101 last year. 30-plus games remaining this season. And Frazier is out on 3 pitches, 1 away. Don't forget, you can vote for your picks to click now as we show you ours for tonight and yours. You, the fan, go with Adam Eaton, who scored the first run. Crew has Saladino. I've got Todd Frazier, and Steve in the doldrums to beat all doldrums goes with Deanna Navarro.
Navarro's going to take me out of this.
You're comfortable saying that?
Yeah, he's gonna have a really good night, and I'm going to climb back.
You know, I say, are you comfortable saying that because you have selected guys immediately after they've homered or immediately after they've had 4-hit games or whatever it is, and very suddenly and rapidly they go over.
Not tonight.
You don't think so?
No, he's turning around, hitting from the right side. I like Deanna's chances.
2 strikes on Avi. We shall see. He is coming up in 2 hitters after Morneau. Anderson at third, Abreu at first. And the Sox with a run already in this first inning. 0-2 from Paxton. That's ripped to right field. Another 2-strike single for the Sox. It's Garcia plating Anderson.
A couple of 0-2 pitches have been not real good. This is a fastball right down the middle. RBI number 38. 4 singles in the inning, and just like that, the game is tied with the Sox looking for more.
Steve, I don't think 2's going to win it tonight.
Depends on how heavy the rain is coming in.
Here is Morneau with a tip foul. You know, you look and you say, okay, the righties have done a lot of damage in this half inning, but the reverse splits are pretty stark for Paxton for his career. Lefties 295 for his career. Righties 235. Just solely batting average there. It's about a 60-point swing.
Well, they've tried to change his motion in that he came right over the top, which is primarily where he's throwing from now, but it's not quite as exaggerated as it was. So far, he hasn't gotten any movement with that fastball, however.
On the ground and through again. Base hit for Morneau. Abreu freezes at third. They're loaded with 1 out. You've heard the phrase death by 1,000 paper cuts. These are pretty harsh and well hit paper cuts.
Well, this one goes through the right side like a bullet. That's going to bring Mel Stottlemyre to the mound, as James Paxton has been shocked this first inning.
5 singles on the board for the Sox and just 1 out.
DJ Rayburn out to break it up. And break it up he does.
So Paxton will face Deanna Navarro for the 2nd time in his career. First time Navarro singled. Second at bat career for Navarro against Paxton. Strike 1. Abreu at third, Garcia at second, Morneau at first.
Outfield playing Deanna is an off-field hitter. Infield straight away.
2 strikes on Navarro.
This will be interesting because he's had all kinds of problems. 0-2.
Paxton on 2 strikes in the dirt.
That time decided there was no way that Navarro was going to hit the 0-2 pitch. And a good stop by Mike Zunino.
Navarro, a couple of grand slams in his career. He homered last night in the finale against the Phillies. One and two.
Seattle very happy to have Zunino behind the plate. He's a former #1 draft pick, 3rd pick overall in 2012. And they've been waiting for him to start to come alive. They always knew it was there. Didn't know quite when the light would turn on, but at 25 years of age, it looks like it certainly has turned on.
Top foul by Navarro. Ever since Zunino came back, the offense has been what they expected and hoped.
He's got some big power. They certainly like the way he catches. He had very good technique blocking that low pitch. But this is a guy they thought of all along would be their #1 catcher, and finally he has ascended to that.
1-2. Another foul ball, and the Sox ramp up that pitch count for the hard-throwing 27-year-old Paxton.
26 pitches already, with only 1 out here in the first. And the thing that Scott Servais doesn't want to see is an early call to the pen.
This is as short of a bullpen in terms of just plain names on the card as we've seen all year. There's 1 lefty and 5 right-handers for Servais, with 5 bench players. They're playing a couple of platoon positions right now offensively. And there you see a so far quiet bullpen. Navarro to left field. Aoki gets over there. Abreu tags from third and scores. The Sox lead, but it could have been more. Sac fly makes it 3-2.
This is a wonderful play by Aoki. He comes across, catches it, holds it, and that gives the Sox the lead. RBI number 32. Could be the biggest sacrifice fly of the game.
Well, so far, you could argue that that it is. It is the second sacrifice fly, and it's given the Sox the lead. Here's J.B. Shuck, who takes a strike. For a guy in Aoki who has been much maligned defensively the last month or so, that was a brilliant play.
Not really known for his defense. Played a lot of right field with Kansas City, you might recall.
That's 30 pitches for Paxton, who in his rehab start in AAA less than a week ago threw 53 total pitches.
Well, you look at those numbers prior to the DL stint, they were just outstanding. And although he hasn't walked anybody, he really hasn't had any command this evening.
Lind at first has to win the race himself, a late participant in the very short dash to first, and Lind wins gold, but the Sox grab 3. They lead Sox 3, Mariners 2 after 1.
Edition of High School Lights. Join host Luke Stuckmeyer for the latest in Week 1 scores, highlights, and fan reaction. Don't miss the season premiere of High School Lights, presented by Wintrust, starting at 11 p.m. on CSN and streaming live at csnchicago.com. There's a young man with a souvenir.
A little young to be a ball boy, but a burgeoning skill set.
And I think if his knee holds out, he's probably going to have a good time with that baseball.
Anthony Renato to Mike Zunino to open the second inning. Ball number 1.
Zunino's got some very big power to all fields.
Three straight games with a homer last week for Zunino.
When you're drafted the third pick in the draft and you're a catcher, you're going to have big power. Otherwise, they wouldn't draft you that high.
1-2 on Zunino.
There you look at what happened last year, and things weren't pretty for him. But this year, things a whole lot better.
Well, Scott Service, the manager of the Mariners, we were chatting with him before the game, and he said one of the first people he flew out to meet after he got the Mariners managerial job was Mike Zunino. Former catcher, Service wanted to go meet a young player, and Zunino strikes out here, one away.
Well, Scott interviewed for the job with Jerry Dipoto. Look at a high fastball out of the zone, and after interviewing for the job, being told he had the job, he and Jerry talked about it, and they knew that part of their future was Mike Zunino. So that's why he went and talked with him and told him exactly what he expected of him. Told him he would come to spring training, they would take a look, and as it turned out, he had to go back down, but since coming back, he's been terrific.
25-year-old catcher Zunino. It's an older lineup at the top of the card. Top 5 are 33 or above in the age department. Then you get to Zunino, who's 25. Marte, the shortstop, is 22 years old.
Well, normally you'd figure Seager would be somewhere in there. And Scott Service is hoping that that foot is healed up by tomorrow.
Anderson at short, down to a knee. We throw out Martine. 2 down. And we remind you that you can join us for Elvis Night and post-game fireworks as the White Sox face the Seattle Mariners tomorrow at 7:10 p.m. For tickets, visit whitesox.com. You know, wise men say that only fools rush in. But I would get here early tomorrow and rush into the ballpark.
Yes, but a lot of the excitement is going to come later when the Flying Elvi descend on the ballpark with lighted costumes.
Is that right?
Yep.
Did you have a part in furnishing those costumes?
Just my normal wardrobe.
Yeah. From the Liberace department? Fouled away. 1-2 on Sean O'Malley playing third tonight. Left field and foul. O'Malley was 0 for 8 in the series against the Sox in Seattle after the All-Star break.
He was playing shortstop, however, which is his natural position. But he's a swing man. He's played all over. He's played the outfield, played the infield, playing third. Wherever there's a gap, he fills it.
Strike 3, Renato, after allowing the first 2 to reach, has retired 6 in a row. He holds a 3-2 lead after 1.5.
arms, and it's quality start leaders in both leagues. Justin Verlander with 20. John Lester with 20. He's tied with Madison Bumgarner, and then Max Scherzer and Jose Quintana with 17. Rick Porcello, 19 rather, both 19. But Justin Verlander leads the way, so that's invaluable. Quality starts. But I like what John Lester said about the quality start. He said, I'm not all that impressed with it. He said it's a 4.50 earned run average. He said, and I'd just as soon go 7. I'm doing the club a lot greater service going 7 than I am going 6. I couldn't agree with him more.
Well, it's like being the leader in Major League Baseball in holds. You can do a number of things to get a hold.
Yep.
It doesn't mean you're the most effective reliever out there.
True. But I always felt 6 innings and a 4.50 ERA doesn't really get you that much.
3 balls, no strikes on Saladino. We mentioned the Mariners are chasing Texas. The Sox in the AL Central have the Indians in first place, and those 2 teams are playing tonight, Cleveland and Texas. The Rangers have taken a 3-0 lead thanks to their new guy as Saladino walks. Carlos Gomez has hit a 3-run homer off of Josh Tomlin.
That's a great way to introduce yourself to a brand new team. As soon as Houston, who designated Carlos Gomez for assignment, as soon as he cleared and became a free agent, Texas signed him to a minor league deal. But I'm sure the promise was go down there, get a few at-bats, we'll bring you right back. And to be introduced to your new ball club by hitting a 3-run homer in a pennant race, that's pretty good. And Cleveland's got their hands full. They got a 4-game series, and they got Detroit playing good, solid baseball, trying to chase them down. And Kansas City right there also, tied at 2 with Miami. That game in the bottom of the 5th in Miami.
Well, the Sox will have a lot to say about those contending teams in the Central down the stretch, with almost exclusively Central games coming up as Smith rushes on for out number 1 here in the home second. Sox next road trip will be to Detroit for 3 games, then 4 at Minnesota before facing the Tigers again to close out the season series at home September 5, 6, and 7.
We're getting to the point now where you can still make trades, obviously, but you have to have waivers, and the Dodgers made a deal, and they got Ruiz from Philadelphia. We just saw him in his very short series.
Carlos Ruiz had a no-trade clause that he decided to waive to make that deal go.
Can you blame him?
No, I'll know.
He's going to the Dodgers. He's going to be able to eventually catch Clayton Kershaw, and he's right in the thick of a pennant race, which the Dodgers are leading.
You always feel for the guy in that trade who goes to the team that's no longer going to be a home of a pennant race. A.J. Ellis is that guy here. I mean, what do you do with yourself?
Well, it's a good question. What you do is you can't sit and bemoan the fact that you're no longer with the Dodgers. You just have to really then root for them, because a substantial share, if they go all the way, awaits you. Maybe not the whole share, but a substantial share.
Ball and a strike on Anderson from Paxton. Saladino at first. Now 2 balls and a strike. Same thing happened to Mike Aviles of the Tigers this year. He ended up getting traded to Atlanta, then eventually a couple days ago was released by the Braves.
That's the second time the Braves have done that. Acquired a player, and nice talking to you.
On the ground and through. Anderson with his second hit. Saladino at second. 2 on, 1 out.
That's one of the things we've seen since Tim Anderson came from the minor leagues. He has a very good chance, once he gets his first hit, to get at least 1 more. Now, the first hit through the right side, the second hit through the left side, and a nice beginning. 2 hits in 2 innings for Tim Anderson. who in this his rookie season has recorded his 23rd multi-hit game. That's pretty amazing.
Now Abreu with Paxton reeling, 41 pitches deep, 3 runs in, 2 on, and ball 1. Abreu with a rocket right at second. Cano creates the double play and gets Paxton out of trouble. 3-2 after 2.
Rocket up the middle off the bat of Abreu turned into a double play. He hits this ball awfully hard right back up the middle, and Cano right there. Now, here's the thing. Tyler Saladino is a middle infielder. If he looks to his left, he's going to see that Cano is playing up the middle. I mean, he's playing almost on second base. When this line drive goes up the middle, you got to figure that it's going to be caught. Breaking to third doesn't do you much good. Get doubled up and out of the inning, and that's for all you young players out there. Take a look at where the guys have set up defensively, and you'll have a much better base running game.
Marte takes a strike. How long are you talking? Just a quick glance as the ball's coming in?
Well, first of all, if you're on second base, the first thing you do is you look at all 3 outfielders and figure out where they're setting up. And that way, you're going to know when a ball is hit in the gap or when it's hit down the line. If you see the left fielder set up down the line and a ball slices down the line, you're not going to go because you know he's going to be there. Infielder is the same thing. You're going to find out where the shortstop and second baseman are playing. In that case, it was easy because Cano was just to his left. I'm telling maybe 15 feet to his left. Ball goes back up the middle. Maybe you get doubled off anyway, but at least you got to be going back to the bat. And that's happened a lot this year. It's not only, and I'm singling out Tyler because he happened to be the guy this time. We've had a lot of guys doubled off, and that's something that, because this ball club has played in so many close games, when you get doubled off and taken out of an inning where your number 4 hitter's coming up prospectively with runners at first and second, even with 2 outs, it doesn't work out well in 1- and 2-run games.
It's an example of a greater trend, though, with shifts being more and more proliferating across Major League Baseball. There's more awareness required of a base runner, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, you've always you're supposed to do that. Now there's more emphasis on it than ever.
Left field side, and foul once again from Ketel Marte, the switch hitting Mariners shortstop.
He wasn't feeling well when we were in Seattle. I think he was out with what they called flu-like symptoms, which I guess you would have to say it's the flu. If you have flu-like symptoms, we're going to pretty much say it was the flu. Anyway, he missed the series.
Eventually, that became mono for Marte as Anderson throws him out, 1 away. Rare mononucleosis diagnosis in the middle of a baseball season. But can you imagine trying to play baseball with mono?
No, having had it, I can't imagine doing much of anything because it will drain you a touch. But not the concession stands.
Well, I mean, if you had mono, you just wouldn't be able to share like they're sharing there. Did you put your name on your stuff in the fridge? That's what you normally have to do when you have mono, right? So you don't share it? I'm assuming you had it in college.
Yes. It's been my 21st birthday in the hospital.
Wow.
It wasn't great.
Ball to strike on Aoki. Yeah, there's strike 2.
Normally, he hits the ball to left field. And with that in mind, Avi is playing shallow. He's slanting a little bit toward the line.
Since he's come back from AAA, Nori Aoki has hit .330, been on base at .370, and slugged about 100 points above his season average at .447.
And he's made for himself a fairly long major league career by being able to just make contact.
To first base, Abreu in fair territory for round number 2. We remind you that Sunday, August 28th is Husky Day at U.S. Cellular Field. Purchase tickets using the Northern Illinois University ticket code and receive a ticket voucher good for a White Sox NIU co-branded hat. Northern Illinois University, your future, our focus. Purchase your tickets today at whitesox.com/NIU.
And another guy we just saw is on the move. And he's a Chicago area product from Oak Lawn.
Scrabble's leaving.
Yep, Mark Zipchinski leaving the A's for seemingly a berth in the playoffs with the Nationals. So that's one of those things where you say goodbye to your teammates. Sorry, boys, but I'm going to the playoffs. Good luck to you. The Nationals needed another lefty in their pen, and Zipchinski has been very durable over the course of his career.
To first from Smith, Abreu stonewalls it and wins to the bag for round number 3. 9 in a row pushed aside by Renato thanks to Abreu. It's 3-2 Sox.
With a White Sox checking, an official White Sox MasterCard debit card, only available at your local Wintrust Community Bank. Go to wintrust.com/Sox to learn more. Wintrust Community Bank, member FDIC.
Sox lead it 3-2. All the runs have scored in the first inning so far tonight. Frazier first, then Garcia and Morneau against the left-hander Paxton. Canadian-born left-hander. Today's Zuba's Palooza at the ballpark, Steve.
It is, and those pants are something special. Something that you have to add to your wardrobe, which is red and blue, basically.
It's very patriotic. Do you have a problem with my...
No, but I mean, those pants going with red and blue would be perfect.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
So you're a fashionista.
In my spare time.
Of which there is little.
There is not much.
1-2. And the jerk. 2 balls, 2 strikes on Frazier, who's had one of his longest home run droughts of the year. His last homer was back on August 9th, 16 days ago. It's game 1 of 4 with Seattle. The Sox will play the Mariners tomorrow with Chris Sale and Felix Hernandez. The pitching matchup should be a dandy. And Quintana on Saturday. And Sunday, Taijuan Walker and Carlos Rodon. Strike 3. Paxton has fanned Frazier twice tonight and 1 away. The King and the Condor tomorrow. Hernandez and Sale.
That's just a great matchup. Going to be a wonderful game. Felix back was disabled a good part of this year. And Chris Sale, fresh off his 15th win, looking for number 16.
We'll be here. I hope you'll be here as well. Avi Garcia now on a 6-game hit streak with an RBI single in the first, takes a strike. And 2. There's Sale having a good time on the bench with the ever kinetic Brett Lawrie next to him.
I would think he'd be very difficult on the bench. They're probably praying that he gets back in the lineup sometime soon because he's wearing them out.
You don't see Brett Lawrie DH very much.
Nope. And there he's actually listening to James Shields. There you go.
Check swing. He went around. Strike 3. 2 away as Morneau comes up. Well, I mean, Brett, you look at his numbers for the year, and the hope is that he gets back sooner rather than later, trying to figure out exactly what's wrong with the quad, the hamstring. He's had a fine year. His doubles number is up for his career total. He's had a very nice season for the Sox.
He has indeed, and the ball club has missed him.
Strike 1 to Morneau. As Paxton's relying much more on the off fastball stuff. Here's a heater outside, ball to strike.
I think that's probably a good thing for him, because it gives him at least some off-speed pitch, something that he feels comfortable changing speeds with, other than that fastball that he had some problems with in the first inning, problems with location.
The fastball average is 97. The cutter average is 90. The changeup average is 88. It's a lot of hard stuff.
Yep, and that's a problem, because then it gives you only location to fool a hitter.
98, 2-2. Grounded foul by Morneau. A couple of Canadians going after each other here. Morneau, third most Canadian-born homers behind just Stairs and Walker. Don't think he's going to catch Larry. Matt is certainly within striking distance as Paxton, his countryman, strikes out the side. Both pitchers have calmed down the offenses after a rocky first. This evening,
and justifiably so, because he's been red hot, and you can pretty much choose anything you want, and then we'll give you whatever it is that we would like to give you. And there it is as you take a look. No one yet has claimed the Sox little truck.
Yeah,
it's really nice looking, as well as this particular cap
from James Hart Jr. High School. I mean, who would not want a James Hart Jr. High School cap, right?
It looks pretty good.
Hey, come on.
And by the way, in this ball game, all the fireworks very early in this one, and since then, both pitchers have settled down. But the Sox do have the lead after a combined 5 runs in the first inning.
Sox got theirs with 5 hits in the first. The Mariners got theirs with 1 hit in the first. A walk, a double, a sacrifice fly after a Cano fly ball moved Seth Smith to third base. There's a strike from Renato, who has retired 9 in a row.
When Cano became a free agent, I remember when Seattle spent $240 million to bring him over, and everybody said, boy, that's outrageous. That's just, I mean, that's an unbelievable number. And then as you take a look at what he's done, he's struggled at times, but last few years he's been awfully good for them. One of the team leaders, a left-handed power bat in a ballpark that is not easy to hit home runs. They've moved the fences in a little, certainly in left and left center.
Cano drills it to right field, and this ball game is tied at 3.
I'll rest my case, counselor.
I believe there are thousands here with an objection for you. It's 3-3 nonetheless.
Home run number 29. He's now driven in 80. A big year for Robinson Cano. Ford home run replay. This one up in his eyes. And he took it out.
Nice catch off the bounce from the staircase.
And a very happy fan. Probably never dreaming she would get a souvenir.
Well, Robinson Cano, you look at the numbers over the last 10 years in baseball, all around, he's one of, if not the best player the last decade in Major League Baseball. And his defense has been much improved this year as well.
I would say he's so smooth in the field. Makes the double play very well. The home run totals are up. The RBI totals are up.
Here are those numbers we were talking about. Wins above replacement since 2007. By those numbers exclusively, I know the eye test is there as well, but by these numbers, Robinson Cano is the top player, position player-wise, in Major League Baseball since 07.
Adrian Beltre, Albert Pujols, Miguel Cabrera. Can't really go wrong at the top of that list or any place on that list.
Nelson Cruz, foul ball. We've talked a lot about exit velocity this year and how it relates to hitters. Nelson Cruz, of all of the position players who qualify in Major League Baseball this year, has the highest average exit velocity of any player at 95.4 miles an hour. As this ball will not count to our physics lesson.
And one of the interesting things is everybody equates exit velocity with home runs, but it really helps you with base hits through the infield, because the quicker the ball comes off your bat, the less time an infielder has to take a couple of steps to try to chase down a ground ball.
One and two, and Cruz goes down on a hook from Renato. One down.
This was a good one because he kept this down. And Cruz, a strikeout victim. That was strikeout number 129 for Nelson Cruz.
Don't get any exit velocity on a punch out.
No.
Except for the leave-in of the batter's box.
Exit into the catcher's glove.
Two and 0 for Lind.
When he's at the top of his game, he will drive the ball to left and left center field. That's in the air. When he hits the ball on the ground, they're playing him as a dead pull hitter.
In the air, left field. Garcia back at the warning track for out number 2. And we have a Sox Math question for you. Hashtag SoxMath on Twitter. First correct answer wins a prize off the prize shelf. Number of Sox games remaining out of division, including tonight, multiplied by the number of vowels in Chris Beck's home state. Subtract the number of walks in last night's game. Add the number of feet between bases on a regulation MLB diamond. That is your Sox Math question for tonight. Have at it. Good luck.
Is it going to get progressively tougher as we move on to Sunday's game?
This is actually I feel like a fairly tough one tonight.
Really?
Yeah. You're going to have to know, well, tomorrow being Elvis night, all bets are off on what the Sox Math subject matter might be. I would bone up on Graceland, Lisa Marie, whatever is there. I'd start researching now.
Blue Hawaii.
Blue Hawaii. One and two for Zunino from Renato. Not that you need an excuse to do Elvis research. Most folks at home click around. 1-2. That fastball was not as up as it looked like Navarro wanted it.
You might as well try again. You got him on a face-high fastball last time. You might go up there one more time.
He did, and he got him. 1-2-3 after the Cano home run, but the Mariners have tied the game at 3.
game brought to you by Miller Lite.
That's a nice plate of nachos. We had a tweeter tweet in about his prowess with the nacho helmet. Todd
Rapnikas, who said that he dominated that in 13 minutes. This qualifies as my audio tweet back to Todd. That's very impressive.
We need to get your audio tweet sponsored.
Okay.
How do we go about that? Here, you take care of this one. I'll do the next one.
Someone has to decide that for some type of inane audio tweet, they want to spend a great deal of extra dollars.
First pitch is down low.
Or maybe 40 cents. That might do it.
Yeah, I mean, there's no, I mean, this is a whole new world here. We're pioneering the Sox math and audio tweets and, you know, whatever people want to sponsor. So you're saying you'd take a quarter and a dime and a nickel to sponsor the audio tweets?
Maybe just a quarter. But I would have to share it.
Price is dropping rapidly.
Nobody's jumping up to actually make a bid.
2-1 on Navarro, whose sacrifice fly in the first gave the Sox a 3-2 lead at that point. Check swing, ball inside. 3-1 on Navarro. Paxton 4 strikeouts, 1 walk so far, 63 pitches through 3+. 3-1. That's well hit deep to left field. Aoki back at the warning track. Somebody moved those fences in retroactively.
The wind is howling in from left field. Well, maybe not exactly, but I mean, that was a really hard hit ball. You got to give him credit for 2 of those tonight.
If this is that day against the Blue Jays, that ball is 10 rows deep.
That's true, but it's not, and it wasn't, and it's an out.
That was very positive.
Unfortunately, he is having a hard time overcoming my pick-to-clickage.
You're quickly becoming the SI cover jinx on a nightly basis.
This is not good.
Oh boy.
There it is. You can see.
It's really gusting. Anti-M. I like when our director Jim Angio deploys his cameramen to make a farce of you.
Oh, that's good. I just thought, I thought maybe the wind batted it down.
3 balls, no strikes on Chuck. There's a fastball for a strike. 3-1 on JB. First game in 5 days for Chuck. Three-1. Second base side. Cano on the charge. The bare hand. And a nifty play by Robinson Cano for out number 2.
That was just an outstanding effort because his only chance was catch it and throw it in the same motion with the bare hand. We told you how smooth he is at second base. He's also got a cannon for an arm. Great play, gets him by an eyelash at first.
That's a great point, too. If he doesn't have that kind of arm, you're talking about a quarter of a step there.
And the interesting part is his natural throw is really from the side, which is unusual for a lot of second basemen. And because of that, that play was a little easier once he was able to make sure he had a grip on it. But you can't afford any type of bobble or couldn't get a handle or anything else. You got him.
Ball to strike, Paxton to Saladino. So James Paxton gives up the 5 hits in the first inning. What have you seen just in the brief couple of innings since then that he's done differently?
Starting to throw that curveball, and he's getting it in the neighborhood. And he's also taking something off. Like that one was 90 miles an hour. That was still his fastball, but he didn't reach back and get everything he could on it. And that's one of the things that a pitcher learns. The fastball can be 2 or 3 different speeds, not just one speed.
Went back at 97, and Saladino flies it to right for Smith to retire the side. 7 straight. Finished off by Paxton. We are 4 deep in a 3-3 tie. Sox Insider all season long on CSNChicago.com, presented by The Great Escape. Pools, patio furniture, hot tubs, and more. Escape your everyday. Shop The Great Escape. Leonis Martin will bat first and take a strike on a breaking ball from Anthony Renato, who is in his brief Sox career, 3 starts, has had pockets where he has been exceedingly effective, including the beginning of that game against the Cubs in his Sox debut as he jams Martin for round number 1.
And there's no doubt about the quality of the stuff. The quality of the stuff for Anthony is there. It's just like all pitchers, a question of location. When he throws it in the spot he wants to throw it, he does well. He has a tendency to leave his fastball up, but if he gets ahead of hitters with either the curveball or anything else off speed, then he can use his face-high fastball and throw it by people, because normally he is a high ball pitcher. Again, if you go high by design, you're in good shape.
Strike 1 from Anthony Renato, who grew up as a Red Sox right-hander out of LSU.
1 pick after Noah Syndergaard in 2010.
Popped up. Shortstop. Anderson. Round number 2. And we take this opportunity to remind you that you Sox fans win with Papa John's Pizza all season long. The day after the Sox win, get 50% off your entire online order of regular menu priced items only at papajohns.com. Use promo code SOXWIN at participating Papa John's locations. Better ingredients, better pizza, Papa John's. In fact, you can use promo code SOXWIN at Papa John's locations which do not participate. They'll just not give you anything for your promo code.
But you'll still get a nice pizza.
You will, for full price.
Exactly right. And then some. Especially if you want to sponsor the audio tweets.
1 strike. That's not true. They will not overcharge you for your pizza if you try to use the promo code and they're not participating. Was that a tax? An illegal promo code tax? Ball and a strike. Second base, Saladino has it ricochet, and Marte is safe at first. While we get a decision on that scoring choice, here's your Sox math answer. 10 games remaining out of the division times 4. Georgia has 4 fouls, 40 minus 3 walks in last night's game. 37, 90 feet between bases on a regulation MLB diamond. 127, the Sox guy, Jack the Sox guy, is a winner tonight.
How about that? How appropriate. And unfortunately, Bob Rosenberg didn't think that ball was hit hard enough, so he's giving Tyler Saladino an error. That was a one-hop rocket that just ate him up.
Well, as a pitcher, you're of the belief that just about everything is an error. You grew up that way.
Well, yeah, I mean, I would want it, but not being here, I thought that probably was a base hit, but...
C'est la vie.
Yeah.
Aoki takes ball number 1. Nori Aoki, who walked and scored in the first inning, came around in the Seth Smith RBI double. Saladino, second chance theater for out number 3. Halfway home, level pegging at 3. Post-game celebration. You and Bill always do a fantastic job. 3-6-1 for the Sox. 3-2-0 for the Mariners from the Pacific Northwest. And Adam Eaton will lead off against Paxton. Ball number 1. This is a 2-series road trip for the Mariners. We were talking about this off here. The travel for Seattle is unlike anybody else in Major League Baseball.
Well, it's probably anywhere from a third to 40% more than just about every team in the Central. Now, quite obviously, the teams in the West and the teams in the East have a lot more travel, but the teams in the East seem to be closer together than the teams in the West, because when you're talking about Seattle, everything is a fairly long flight to get to Seattle.
Even down the coast to California.
Yeah.
Yeah, long trips. I mean, I say that because people from the Midwest or the East might say, well, you know, 2 states are close, Washington and California. You got Oregon in there, and it seems pretty easy.
Not so much so, because
that's not the case.
Seattle's up at the top, and then your closest would be Oakland.
Left field, Aoki drifting back for out number 1. First 20,000 fans at each game receive a Merck's cheese spread game card, good for savings on delicious Merck's cheese in the deli or dairy case at your local grocer. Watching the White Sox and saving on Merck's cheese. Some fans have all the luck. Purchase your tickets today at WhiteSox.com or call 866-SOX-GAME.
Tim Anderson trying to keep his perfect night alive.
Single to left, single to right. And ball number 1 to Tim. It's now 5 out of 11 against the Mariners this year. Ball and 2 strikes, and you talked about it. Paxton has taken something off when he's needed to. He gave up the 5 hits in the first inning, just 1 since for the Sox.
And this kind of comeback really helped him as far as that bullpen is concerned.
Played it perfectly. Robbie Cano for out number 2.
Talking with Scott Service, he was talking about Mel Stottlemyre, the pitching coach, and he said, look, he said, I view myself as a new school type manager in that I look at the numbers are everything. That's what I learned in the front office. That's how I learned to evaluate people. So when he and Jerry Dipoto talked about the choice for pitching coach, it was Jerry Dipoto who said, why don't you interview Mel Stottlemyre, because he's more an old school pitching coach. He's going to balance you very well, and he and I can communicate well. And so they talked, and Mel Stottlemyre, whose father was a wonderful pitcher for the New York Yankees, he eventually got the job, and it is a good balance for him. And there's a look at Mel, whose father, one of the real tough sinker ball pitchers in the American League for years with the New York Yankees.
Lives up in Idaho, in Lewiston, Idaho.
A lot of potatoes.
I know you're big on American imports and exports. It's a pet project of yours.
I happen to love all potatoes.
You do?
Except sweet potatoes.
Well, that's not all potatoes then.
Almost all potatoes.
Jose Abreu continues his streaking offense. He's 2 for 3 tonight.
And the only time he was retired was a line drive rocket to Cano, who was playing up the middle. He keeps the inning alive. That means more pitches for Paxton. Todd Frazier is going to have to figure out James Paxton. You ever known anybody who came from Delta Secondary School?
Delta
Ladner?
Secondary School.
Ladner, British Columbia?
I don't think I do.
He might be one of the more famous guys to come out of that school.
You mean
James
other than Paxton?
No, James Paxton might be.
No,
one
I'm
of the
saying
more
I don't
famous.
know any others. From Delta Secondary School, you said? Secondary Delta School? That's where the cut rate pilots go, I think.
Delta Secondary School. It's famous in Ladner, British Columbia.
2 strikes on Frazier. Pitch number 90 on the way. Swing and a miss. Todd's on his way to first, but the ricochet to Zunino does him in.
That is a real bad break, because that one could have gone to the dugouts.
The Mariners sure play a mean pinball. 3-3 after 5.
extend their unbeaten streak to 3 and gain ground in the East as they visit D.C. United. Coverage begins at 5:30. Don't miss it. Third time through the order for Anthony Renato, and the threesome this inning is pretty tough.
Starting with the left-hander Seth Smith, who has a breaking ball strike. After that leadoff walk, the first batter of the game, Aoki. Renato, no walks, 4 strikeouts. Jersey native Anthony Renato. Ball and a strike. Inside 2-1 on Smith.
But didn't miss by much. He wanted to throw it there, got it there, but the deciding vote, DJ Rayburn, says no.
Seth Smith, the guy with a long professional career, drafted by the Rockies back in 04. Bashes this ball to right field, and Adam Eaton skates on over for out number 1.
And that was a line drive rocket. Smith hits the daylights out of it, and Adam Eaton right there to make the play. And that got to him in a hurry, just shaking his head. I think that ball was hooking, and he had to reach back to make the play.
Well, part of Adam's success there was that stylish arm sleeve on his left arm. To shortstop and past Anderson. Cano with a base hit with 1 down.
This one to the right of Tim Anderson. Even if he comes up with it, I don't think he's going to be able to get Cano. Cano doesn't have great speed, but it's good enough. And he comes up with his second hit.
This one less damaging than the first, though, which was a long range home run to lead off the 4th. Here is Nelson Cruz, who has 5 home runs in the last 15 days.
You can get him to hit the ball on the ground. He will ground into a double play, but he's got an uppercut swing of a classic home run hitter. He has grounded into 15 double plays, however, with that wide open stance, hands held high.
Pair that with a pitcher who's generally more of a fly ball pitcher than a ground ball pitcher.
And usually you'll see fly balls. "20 home runs the last 8 seasons for Nelson Cruz, the only other major leaguer. Big Papi, David Ortiz. Doesn't seem like a whole lot, 20 home runs for a home run hitter, but the consistency and being able to stay healthy for 8 straight years, especially in the case of David Ortiz with all of the leg problems he's had, means it's a very small club.
That started in 2009, Cruz's first All-Star season, 33 homers that year, and he's demolished 20 homers the last 2 seasons, 40 in 2014, 44 last year with the Mariners.
I'm still surprised that Baltimore let him go, because that ballpark for him, seemingly the way he's swinging it, that's 50 a year there.
You got a guy who coming into last year, after last season, I should say, 3 straight All-Star years, 3 straight new teams. Texas 2013, Baltimore in 14, and the Mariners last year as Tom Wilhelmsen, former and current Mariner, gets loose. Two and 2 for Cruz. Cano at first. There's a ground ball off Renato. Anderson's only play is at first, and it's not executed. First and third for Seattle in the 6th.
So I think it's going to be a base hit. and I'd have to think it would be an error on the play. The question is, who do you give it to? You have to explain, and it goes E6. So it goes off the glove. I think, to me, that's got to be base hit E6. I think Bob will take a look at that again and realize Anderson's going to his left. And you watch it here. Anderson is going to his left. Then he has to redirect to go to his right. He's got a picket throw in the same motion, and Bob Rosenberg has changed it. It's base hit E6.
So second error against the Sox middle infield tonight. One ball scalded to Saladino, and this one on the ricochet. So the Mariners creating some trouble, and Lind gives Seattle the lead on an RBI single with the first pitch he saw. Adam Lind drives in Cano. 4-3 Mariners.
Well, this figured, third time through the order, this figured to be a tough inning. Third time through, it's very difficult against any team, especially a team with the power of this Seattle team. And Don Cooper is going to come out, take the long, slow trip to the mound. That means the bullpen most likely is going to start to work. It has not been to work yet, as Renato, but only given up 2 hits coming into this inning. And all in all, pretty good job here tonight. This Seattle team, especially the top part of this order, is relentless. And then you add Seager to it, they get even more so. And it's Dan Jennings starting to throw in the pen.
Left-hander who we saw last night for just one batter. That was against Ryan Howard, who singled against Jennings and eventually came around to score the Phillies' final run of the night. 2 on, 1 out for Zunino, who has twice struck out against Renato. Cruz at second, Lind at first. Two balls, no strikes on Zunino.
This is the first time, really, that Renato has fallen behind where Zunino had the count in his favor. Fanned him twice on face-high fastballs, but now he's got to throw a strike.
2 on, 1 out, 2-0. Zunino takes a strike.
Perfect pitch, even if you're squeezing the sawdust out of the bat, looking for that fastball. You get it knee high, shaving off the outside corner. This is a good take by Zunino, because if he does swing it, it's going to be a double play.
Two and 1. Half swing on a foul ball, breaking ball, 2-2. It's a good sequence right there. A surgical strike for strike 1, and then the breaking ball for strike 2. So now at 3-2, where do you go?
Well, the place that I thought he would have gone on 2-2, and that's a face-high fastball. If you got him there twice at 2-2, you're more likely to get him there again, but I think that's where you have to go here. As you look at Leonis Martin in the on-deck circle.
Three and 2 is ball 4. And we'll see how the Sox bench reacts to that one. Jennings has been loosening. You can live out your dream of becoming a professional baseball player by attending the White Sox Dodgers Fantasy Camp January 15th through the 21st at the spring training home of the White Sox Dodgers, Camelback Ranch in Glendale, Arizona. For more info, call the Fantasy Camp hotline at 623-302-5078 or go to whitesox.com and click on Fantasy Camp. Here's the pitching change for the Sox. Renato is leaving. Dan Jennings was loosening. And he will enter with the bases loaded and one down in the Seattle sixth.
Their Hyundai call to the pen, and it is Dan Jennings. He inherits the bases loaded. On for the 49th time. He's 4-3. His ERA under 2, 197. He's going to have to deal with Leonys Martin with no margin for error.
Martin, looking at purely batting average, is a better average hitter against left-handers than he is against right-handers. 280 versus 233. And a line drive into left center for Martin. Should score a pair. Cruz is home. Lind is home. The Mariners add a couple.
That one just barely got over the head of Tim Anderson, and Lind had to hold up. Almost didn't score because of that, but you don't want to get doubled up and taken out of the inning. Anderson cannot get to it. And for Martin, RBIs 39 and 40, and that extends the lead.
Not only does he have a better batting average against left-handers, he also has a higher slugging percentage against left-handers. He's just one of those guys that has worn out lefties this season.
Well, since he's come in the league, that really has been one of his trademarks, is that he keeps the front shoulder and he stays right with it, and he's willing to take those left-handers to left and left center.
That said, with this lineup for Seattle, a left-handed pitcher is generally a good idea. It's a lefty-heavy order that hits right-handers better.
Yes, it is.
O'Malley, chopper over the mound. Jennings awaits and throws out the Mariners' third baseman. Second and third, two down for Marte. Marte smoked a ball last inning. Reached on an error against Saladino. And now a big batter here for Jennings.
I think Scott Service is going to go to the bullpen. I think he got his 5 innings from Paxton, and I think he feels fortunate to have the lead. And he's going to turn it over to the pen to cover the final 4 innings. Here's a look at Scott Service.
Former catcher, Astros among others. Anderson has to wait for it to clear and throws out Marte, his counterpart, for the final out of the inning. But the Mariners pick up 3 and lead 6-3 after 5.5. Field featured tickets as low as $5 in the upper level and $15 in the lower level, and special kid-focused activities throughout the ballpark. Plus, parking's available for only $10. Visit whitesox.com/Sundays to purchase your tickets today.
New pitcher in the ball game, and it's king-size Tom Wilhelmsen. On for the 43rd time, 2-4 his ERA, way up there. There was one point when he was the closer for this Seattle team. He's one of the few guys that left the game for 5 years and came back to the game. He was a Brewers 7th-round pick in 2002, was a closer for these same Mariners, now finds his way back to Seattle, and it's been a tough year for him.
He'll face Garcia, Morneau, and Navarro as Paxton completes his night. 5 innings, 7 hits, 3 earned runs, a walk and 5 strikeouts. But boy, with the start he had, he really did settle down.
Anytime you give up 3 runs on 5 hits in the first inning and you make it through 5, you're getting the job done.
Bonus strike on Garcia, who's 1 for 2 with one of those runs created in the first inning, an RBI single, part of a 5-hit first.
And you can understand why Scott Service would take him out, coming back off the disabled list after taking a line drive off his pitching elbow. This is first start back. And after that first inning, when he started to get the feel for the off-speed pitch, getting the curveball over the plate, changing speeds on his fastball, he did a pretty good job. First inning looked like he was so filled with adrenaline, he was just going to throw everything instead of to the catcher. He was trying to throw it through the catcher, and that doesn't work out very well.
O'Malley at third does get Avi Garcia, who was trucking down the line, 1 away. In time for tonight's edition of Sticks and Stone. Julio Cruz, how'd you do against him?
Well, he was a little left-hand hitter. At least for me, he was.
He grew and switched hands against others?
Well, yeah, he might have changed, but I remember him as a guy with a very short swing, very good speed. So I will say that he did pretty well. Can't remember him hitting any home runs. He was one of the few.
Morneau center field. And 2 away. One interesting note about Cruz is he was a high school basketball player at Redlands High School out west. And one of his teammates was future Super Bowl head coach Brian Billick.
Really?
How about that?
I don't think Julio Cruz was the center on that team.
How'd you do against Brian Billick?
Not very well, but you know, bring up a football reference is really interesting because it leads into a story about Scott Service that we will get to.
I look forward to it. Here's strike number 1 to Navarro. Go ahead.
Oh, I can't tell you now.
You can't?
I'm holding it in abeyance.
Oh, no. Well, it is what? It's only 4 months today until Christmas. So start putting those stories on layaway. The kids love them. 0-2 on Navarro. Here's the answer to Sticks and Stone. 200 against the Cruiser.
Easy. He had only one double, 6 for 30.
That's well done by Stephen Michael Stone.
I faced him a lot, apparently. Wow. Ginkgo biloba, I think, is in my next trip to the health food store.
That's for the old memory?
Yeah, I'm forgetting these things.
Even throughout this season, I feel like, or we've just picked a couple guys that have been unremarkable.
You picked some,
to you.
Yeah, for me, obscure matchups.
1-2. 2 balls and 2 strikes on Navarro.
Well, Helmsen, when he was a closer, had one of the better over-the-top curveballs.
Two and 2. 3 balls and 2 strikes.
Last year, this Seattle team lost 27 times in the opponent's final at bat. That was the most in the major leagues. That included 12 walk-off losses.
That is no fun.
So you can tell that what they wanted to do was shore up the bullpen. And that was a mission for Jerry DiPoto, the general manager, handled by Scott Service, the manager. And Edwin Diaz came along.
Lind at first calls off Will Helmsen for out number 3. And a 6-3 Mariners.
Home field advantage stat. The best home OPS in the American League this year. Who else? David Ortiz is having an all-world year at the age of 40. Then J.D. Martinez, Tyler Naquin, the rookie with the Indians, Mike Napoli, Mike Trout, Miguel Cabrera, you look at it, a minimum of 100 plate appearances, and Big Papi leads the parade.
Red Sox lost today in Tampa, 2-1 the final score. Dan Jennings opens the 7th inning.
So you mentioned Brian Billick.
I did.
And what Scott Servais said before the game, he feels that football coaches will do the most teaching. And one of the ways they do it is by compartmentalizing their time when they have training camp.
He loves the detail orientation of football coaches.
And that's exactly the way he wanted to run his spring training, so that every minute in spring training was accounted for, and guys shifted around and knew exactly where they had to be at any given time, so there was no wasted time. And he felt that his coaching staff bought into it, which is the key. If your coaching staff buys into it and then goes at it with the players and they start to buy into it, then everything works out real well, because then you have a whole lot of teaching going on, and hopefully they can continue that through the season. And that's one of the things that changes Seattle club.
Anderson at shortstop. Going out number 1. Aoki put away. Star Wars fans, the White Sox are proud to present Star Wars Night at the ballpark this Saturday when the White Sox take on the Mariners. First 10,000 fans get one of these, a free Southpaw Star Wars bobblehead. To purchase tickets, visit whitesox.com/Star Wars. Dum 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 dum.
Can we get another soundtrack? There he is. There's the paw. The Jedi Knight, Southpaw Jedi Knight. And you can have that on our prize shelf if you won tonight.
You can. Jack, the Sox guy, defending Sox Math champion, is Guillermo Heredia pinch hits for Seth Smith in the 7th inning. We told you the Mariners barely have enough room on the bench for all of their hitters. They have 5 bench players who can swing it tonight. Matt Albers getting loose for the Sox with Jennings on the hill in back of Renato.
I'm not sure how long that's going to go on, but you got King Felix going to the mound tomorrow, and normally that means that the bullpen has most of the game off. Well, Sox have had a better than average time against King Felix. Last year, these Mariners were 10 under. They were 76 and 86. This year, coming into tonight, 67 and 59.
Wrapped it around for a strike. 1-2 on Heredia. Scott Servais didn't really like that call too much.
Pretty good pitch, though. I mean, it was a pitcher's pitch, but it had a little piece of the zone, as you see on the Honda pitch tracks.
All it needs is a little piece of the zone.
That's it.
In fact, it doesn't need any of the zone for it to be called a strike.
Depending on what umpires decide on a given night, because every umpire has a different zone.
You know, speaking of umpires, today is a very interesting anniversary in baseball history. In 1929, the Giants were the first team to use a public address system when they put a microphone inside the mask of the plate umpire, Cy Rigler. He called balls and strikes on the public address system from behind the plate. So there is precedent for the argument that after instant replay, umpires should get on the microphone. Lined over third, base hit for the pinch hitter Heredia, and the Mariners have a runner on with 1 out.
Just like we promised earlier in the game, it's Miller time, brought to you by Miller Lite. And here's our Miller moment. Robinson Cano at the time. Mariners trailing by 1. Not so any longer. He was leading off the 4th inning. It made it a 3-3 game. They've added 3 to that and lead by 3. I would say umpires would like that better than they would like the sound of the ball hitting the mask and the explosion that it would create on a microphone.
Coming over the PA.
Yes.
Yeah. First base, Abreu off the spin, gets the lead runner. Return pass is wide, but no harm done. Heredia out at second. Cano replaces him at first.
Good solid throw by Abreu as he went to second base looking for the double play. And here comes Robin. That's going to be it for Jennings. He's got a good angle. Not obscured. The throw is right there. And the throw back. Very tough for pitchers to locate the bag and try to catch the baseball. So Jennings will come out. Albers will come in. We'll step out and be back after these messages. Ed comes into this for the 54th time. He's 2-5, ERA of 3.70. There you look at the numbers. He's on to face a very tough right-hand hitter, Nelson Cruz,
who is 1 for 2 tonight. A run scored, a sacrifice fly, and a strikeout. Mariners have a chance tonight to pick up a game. It looks like, at least in the wild card. Nothing in the division, however, with the Rangers leading the Indians 8-0. Baltimore has gone final with a loss to Washington 4-0. Blue Jays are trailing as well to the Angels. Ball 1 from Albers.
The Orioles still shocked probably that Zach Britton actually gave up a run. First run he's given up since April.
That earned column was rather bare.
It didn't cost him the win. He still got the save, but he did give up a run.
Ball and a strike from Albers to Cruz. He's hurt the Sox this year. He's 5 out of 12 against the Sox in 4 games now. Spins outside, 2-1 on Cruz.
Well, Cano is taking no lead whatsoever. He's no threat to steal anyway, but in a situation like this, you want Nelson Cruz to swing the bat.
Two-1. Checked his swing, ball low. 3 balls and a strike on Cruz, with Adam Lind coming next. Mariners got 3 runs last inning to take the 6-3 lead in the 7th. Frazier on the backhand to second base. And Wilson take me out to the ball game. 6-3, the Mariners with the lead.
Caminero, who was signed by the Marlins originally in 2006, a hard-throwing right-hander, acquired from the Pirates. It's appearance number 50 between the Pirates and Seattle. His ERA with the Mariners, a pretty good 3.27.
He was born circa 287 BC. Oh, that's the other Archimedes.
He was named, it says, after Archimedes and Euclid.
Well, I mean, it's a perfect guy to be a pitcher, Archimedes. The thinker, the mathematician, was important for his discovery of the relation between the surface and volume of a sphere and a cylinder. So, I mean, look, he's throwing a sphere to the plate.
It's probably why his friends and family called him Kiko back in the Dominican Republic.
Is that right?
I think so, because of the sphere and the circumference.
This is right. J.B. Shuck. If only we could banish you to Egypt.
Well, speaking about hurling the sphere, Max Scherzer was pretty good tonight. 3-hit shutout.
Certainly was. Ground ball to short. Marte can't handle it, and the Sox have the leadoff man aboard in inning number 7. It's an error on Marte.
That's what speed will do for you. He knew that J.B. Shuck could run well, so he charged the ball. This one hits off the back of the mound and comes up and bites him. It took an interesting hop on it. I think hitting off the mound gave it some overspin because when it hit, it bounced up. He kept the glove down, couldn't come up with the hop, and he picked up an error.
Second base runner for the Sox since the 2nd inning. And here is Saladino, who walked in that 2nd inning.
14th error for Marte in 88 games. That's a high total.
Fastball fades outside. 2-0 on Saladino with Eaton next. Sox trying to climb back into it after a 3-run 6th inning for Seattle. There's Adam, who's 1 for 3. Shuck at first, 2-0. Golfed foul.
Mike Zunino telling Caminero to keep that front shoulder in. He pointed to his left shoulder, meaning if you fly open, you're not going to throw strikes. And the last 2 pitches were in the same spot. As you can see, the 3 obscuring the 2 on our Honda pitch tracks.
In the air left field, Aoki rushing in. He gets there, and the out made. That was a close play in left.
And
One away.
And credit John Hirschbeck, because he went out all the way. He was right on top of the play. Good umpire rotation as DJ Rayburn goes to third base to cover if there's a play there. And John Hirschbeck goes out and takes a look at Aoki. Now we'll see if he caught it.
No. That hit the ground.
Well, let's see it in that angle. I'm not sure. I'm not sure it did hit the ground. I think it hit the hand of the. I think it hit the glove. We'll watch it again.
Clang, ground,
Yep.
glove. They're going to look at this. You have to imagine they're going to look at this.
Even if you do, it's a force out at second.
Well, they can't give him the force out. You'd have to give the Sox second base, I believe.
Well, it's kind of interesting, and they're discussing it right now. And here's the thing. It's got to be definitive proof. It looked like it might have hit off the finger of the glove and then hit the ground. Or it can be interpreted hitting off the finger of the glove and rolling back into the glove. It's really close. Take a look at the bottom of the glove.
I think it's glove, ground, glove, Steve. It's close. You think it's going to stand, don't you?
To me, I think it's glove all the way.
I just don't see on that angle the underside of the glove. It looked like there was a second contact point.
In New York, they might have a gopher cam that actually shoots straight up.
Well, in New York, the video operators can magnify up to 600%, and it isn't out.
To me, it was just glove. I know, I mean,
Really?
everybody sees it differently, but I saw glove all the way.
Wow.
Yeah.
I thought for sure ground there.
2010 vision. Maybe 25.
That's from 6 years ago.
25 vision.
They're using the 2010 model. By the reaction in the crowd,
Yeah.
most of the people here on the replay on the video screen thought safe.
Well, guess why?
I thought real time it hit the ground.
You were laboring under a misconception.
I wonder, hypothetically, just if the call was trap, right? If the call was it hit the ground,
Yeah.
would it have stood? You wonder. And we'll find out if the call stood or it was confirmed.
I'll be glued to the phone to find out.
Sounds painful. Ball and a strike for Eaton.
In the meantime, it's 2 pretty good efforts by Aoki out in left field. For a guy that is not known for his defensive prowess, he's done a pretty good job twice.
Saved a couple of runs early in the game as Eaton takes a ball low. So the Sox have officially used their challenge, but being this game in the 7th inning, past the 6th, it's now a possibility to ask for a crew chief review.
Yeah, you can always ask the umpire to take a look at it, and more times than not, they say okay.
2-1 for Eaton. That is off the plate. 3-1. I guess the 600% zoom in Chelsea saw The ball being caught in left field.
That was it.
3-1. Way inside. 2 on, 1 out.
That's the second time that the ball has gotten by Zunino, only to bounce right back to him. That's really amazing because you very rarely see that. And yet you've seen it twice tonight. So Adam Eaton does take the base on balls, and now the tying run in the person of Tim Anderson comes to bat.
Tim 2 for 3. Single to right, single to left, and a ground ball to second. He's trying to get those guys home and then some. One swing could tie it here. 6-3 in the 7th. Caminero. Ball 1. Well, the root of his name means walk. And he is, sadly for his own right, playing into that name. The last 2 batters. 1-0. Inside 2-0.
He had only walked 1 man unintentionally in 11 innings, covering 10 appearances. Mel Stottlemyre now runs to the mound as Caminero having all kinds of problems locating the plate.
He throws it hard. The average fastball right around 98 miles an hour, which is close to tops in Major League Baseball.
He had the same fastball with Pittsburgh, and yet Pittsburgh decided to move him on. And one of the reasons why they decided to move him was 22 walks in 41 innings.
Reliability low.
Yeah, just right. You've got to get it over, no matter how hard you throw it.
2-0 to Anderson. Fastball count. Fastball cracked to center field. Martin is back. It's 1 hop over the wall. That's going to save the Mariners some trouble as Shuck comes home to score. Eaton will go to third. It's 6-4.
3 hits tonight for Tim Anderson, sitting on a fastball all the way and drilled it over the head of Martin, who had no chance. That's going to be it for Caminero, as Scott Service is going to go to the bullpen. That fastball at 97, but right down the middle, just above belt high, and Tim Anderson hit the daylights out of it.
Fifth career 3-hit game for Tim Anderson. The Sox rally is a Bruin in the 7th. 2 on, 1 out as the Mariners dip into the bullpen.
And it's a sidearmer, Steve Cishek, coming in for the 48th time. He is 2-6, but his ERA pretty good at 3.24. 66 strikeouts in 50 innings. As you can see, much tougher on the right-handers than the left-handers, but he's got a red-hot right-hander to face in Jose Abreu.
11 extra base hits his last 20 games for Abreu. One here would tie the game, or maybe more. Ball number 1. The word on the Saladino ball is call stands. Officially on the fly ball to left field, the only out of this 7th inning. 1-0 from Cishek. We'll have to wait. Eaton at third, Anderson at second with a ground rule double. Strike called, 1-1.
Martin has a great arm in center field. Aoki, not much of an arm in left.
Climb the ladder, 1-2 on Abreu.
And Heredia just coming in the game in right field. I don't believe has a normal right fielder's arm. That usually is the best arm in the outfield, but in this case, the best arm belongs to Martin in center.
Ball and 2 strikes, Cishek. Fouled away.
Jose did a nice job of plate coverage. That one spinning just off the corner. That sidearm slider, very tough. That's the reason why right-handers have done very little with him. But he was able to stay alive. It's a 2-run ball game. The infield is back. They're going to concede the run. So a ground ball will get the job done.
1-2. Grounder foul. A little interesting. The infield would be back here. Don't you think?
Well, I think with the ability of Jose Abreu and how hard he's been hitting the ball lately, if they can knock it down, if they can come away with the lead after this hitter, I think that's on the minus God service.
Abreu's making it difficult. We'll see his 7th pitch.
But it's not one of those routine decisions. I mean, this is where a manager makes his money, is making a decision like this. And probably being on the road has something to do with it.
Abreu goes after the slider. And a strikeout in a big spot for Cishek.
By the way, when you announced the call from New York, as you look at an expanded strike zone on that sidearm slider, you said the word out of New York was the call stands, and that is no clear and convincing evidence to confirm or overturn the call. So they're not saying that he did catch it. They are saying that even slowed down, they couldn't necessarily see evidence to overturn it.
Ball 1 to Frazier. That's a big play in the game, but also you got a chance. You got a chance, second and third, one out.
Yep.
To change the timber of the inning as well. 2-0 on Frazier. Garcia is next.
And Avi has made a habit out of hitting the Mariners well.
Well over 300 last 2 years. See if he gets a shot. 2-0 from Cishek. Frazier rips it through. Eaton scores. Anderson's coming home. Aoki is left, and the Sox tie the game. Todd Frazier makes it 6-all. A 2-out laser.
That turns into a very bad play by Aoki because he does not have a good arm, and there's no chance, literally no chance, to get Anderson at the plate. He allows the trailer, in this case Todd Frazier, to move into second base. He represents a go-ahead run. You've got to get this ball to second. Anderson is just too fast, and when you don't have a good arm, you cannot throw through. RBI 78, 79, and 2 big ones for Todd Frazier.
As Avi takes ball number 1, Frazier continues to torture the Mariners this season. He's driven in 9 runs against Seattle in 4 games.
That was a big lift for the ball club. With Abreu going down on strikes, he comes up with a 2-out base hit to tie the game.
You fill the schedule out with Mariners games as Garcia goes around. Fill the schedule out with Mariners games. Todd Frazier's going to drive in 360 runs.
There's just some teams that there's no way you can drive in even as much as 1 run. Other teams, like the Mariners, you torch if you're Todd Frazier.
That's a strike. 1-2 from Cishek. Nice pitch.
Nate Jones throwing in the pen.
You got Abreu on the slider. He goes back there and doesn't get a swing. 2-2 on Garcia. Error got Shuck on. Saladino the fly ball that was in question on replay. Eaton a walk. Anderson a double. After the Abreu strikeout, Frazier the big blow, a 2-run single. He's at second on the throw. 2-2 for Avi. And a glance at second at Frazier. Big couple steps there.
When you do that, you're just not ready to throw the ball for whatever reason, because nobody's covering at second base. You're not going to do anything to shorten his lead because there's nobody there. Now Cano takes a couple of token steps over there, but he's going to retreat to his position.
On the ground, second base. There is Cano at the end of the inning. But the Sox come back with 3 big runs. 6-6. This has become a 2-inning ball game in regulation. Live streaming sports service. Watch every out-of-market game live in HD on over 400 supported devices. It includes a free subscription to At-Bat Premium, the #1 app for live baseball. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Visit MLB.tv for details.
We got a new pitcher coming in the ball game, and it is Nate Jones. On for the 59th time. He's 5-2. His ERA 2.5. 25 holds, 65 strikeouts, and 57 2/3.
He'll face Lind, Zunino, and Martin. Scheduled in this 8th inning, the Sox and Mariners saw 5 runs come across in the first inning. Seattle then got 1 in the 4th to tie the game at 3. Mariners picked up 3 in the top of the 6th. Then the Sox in their portion of the 7th evened the game again at 6 this time.
So Paxton can't win. Renato can't lose.
Ball 2 for Adam Lind, who has hurt the Sox at points this year in big ways.
He's strong.
Seattle won 2 of 3 in that series out the Northwest by scoring late. This is game 1 of 4. A weekend series before the Sox hit the road for 7. 2-1. On the ground, the lone man on that side, Todd Frazier, has him for out number 1. That's got to be really maddening as a hitter. There's one guy in between the 2 bases.
Yeah,
you hit it right at him.
You've got an astonishing amount of room, and literally, you hit it exactly where he's standing.
That's where you go find your player rep and you say, let him outlaw the shift. Go to the meeting and vote.
If you outlaw the shift is right at the shortstop, so the only way, yeah, you're not going to get a hit on that one.
Democracy in action.
I like the shifts, though.
You do?
Yeah, I do. I think that it allows hitters who want to adjust to actually adjust and get more hits, but guys don't seem to. They will seem to hit into the shift more often than not, especially your left-hand pull hitters when the second baseman is playing in short right field out on the grass. You see them make a lot of plays.
Could you imagine in football if they outlawed moving before the snap by the defense? Peyton Manning would have thrown for 1,000,000 yards. All right, he's the Mike linebacker. He's covering that guy. All right, pop it for 20 yards.
Or you could go to Canadian football where everybody can run toward the line.
You a big CFL viewer?
I like the wider field.
You do?
Yeah. It would be easier for me to run away from people before those gigantic folks knock me down.
High pop-up, third base side, foul ground. Anderson, 2 down, and let's say hello to our affiliates, shall we? Steve Stone?
Sure.
I'd like to welcome all our viewers watching on RTC in Rochester, Indiana. By the way, if you want to end up on the map, you can use the hashtag SoxPopuli tonight. And we'll put you on the map. There's Rochester in Indiana. They made the map. Hashtag SoxPopuli, and we'll put you on the map.
We're kind of in the middle to the northern part of Indiana, judging by that map.
Budding cartographer, Steve Stone.
Yep.
That's what the C stands for.
Actually,
cartography.
The M is for Magellan.
Oh. You know, I keep misreading your birth certificate.
Which, by the way, they sponsor quite a fireworks display.
They do, yes.
Yep, they do.
Yeah. One strike on Martin. Fly ball left field. Avi Garcia, a visitor to the warning track for out number 3. It's a 1-2-3 inning for Nate Jones. Sox will bring up Morneau, Navarro, and Schuck after this. think those plans include getting a win, maybe even a couple runs here in the 8th inning. Morneau, Navarro, and Shuck.
Well, Cishek doesn't throw near as well against left-handers, and Justin Morneau, who is a home run hitter, is thinking about one thing, and that is hitting the ball out of the park. If he can get one of those pitches out over the plate.
Nothing doing so far. 2-0 on Justin, who's 1 for 3 so far tonight. Just caught the corner and barely at that. 2-1. Told you the Mariners have only 6 arms in the bullpen tonight. They've used 3 so far. Same type of pitch, just caught the outside corner. 2-2.
Cishek has given up 8 home runs in 50 innings. That slider biting down and in. And Justin was able to stay alive. First 2 sliders were pretty much unhittable. They started over the right-handed batter's box and shaved out the outside corner. Here's an outside fastball.
That was dangerous. They haven't shifted so much to pull. He makes contact. He's got a hit. Instead, 1 down.
This is not a strike, but it has good movement. You see where Zunino wants it? It starts out there and then just dives out of the strike zone. Good pitch, especially after looking at 3 sliders. And David Robertson loosening up.
See how Robin and Coop decide to play this. You've got Jennings for an inning and a third, Albers for a third of an inning. Now Jones, pitcher currently for the Sox. And O'Malley, Marte, and Aoki coming up for Seattle. 8, 9, and 1 scheduled up. On the ground, who's going to get it? Everyone's over there. And Cano for out number 2. It was like 3rd grade soccer defense. Everyone was running to the baseball.
Here's our PNC Bank upcoming schedule, and the Mariners here for 3 more. And then it's on the road. The Tigers provide the opposition for 3, and the Twins for 4. As you can see, a road trip against division foes. That's a PNC Bank upcoming schedule.
Two out for J.B. Shuck, who scored a run after reaching on an error last time. Takes ball 1 from Cishek.
O'Malley thinks that there's a chance he's going to bunt because he's in on the grass at 3rd. Outfield in a no doubles defense for J.B. Shuck. They usually don't play him that deep. They have to make sure they can live with the ball in front of them. They can't live with one over their heads, and if he hits it over the head of Heredia or Martin, it's going out of the park.
Two balls and a strike. Cishek's been very adept at probing those corners so far in the 8th inning. Right-hander out of Carson Newman in Jefferson City, Tennessee. 3 balls and a strike. Three and 1 to Shuck. That's inside, ball 4. 2-out walk prolongs the inning for Saladino.
And that's the go-ahead run. J.B. Shuck doesn't run very often, just 2 of 4 in the stolen base department.
Saladino walked to the second, fly out to right, fly out to left the remainder of his night. In the air, left field, Aoki for out number 3. A couple of rides to left here in the 8th inning, but nothing got up and out. Tied at 6. To the 9th we go.
He makes another start for our Sox against Seattle in Game 3 of the series. Coverage begins at 5:30 with White Sox pregame live. Presented by the Koalas family of dealerships in CSN on CSN Chicago.
Well, if the next 3 are anything like this first one, it's going to be an entertaining series.
You would think so, as David Robertson comes on for the 52nd time. It's 3-2. He gets to face the bottom part of the order. And O'Malley to lead it off. He'll turn around and hit from the left side.
He faced Jennings from the right side last time. And there's ball number 1 to O'Malley, who's yet to hit a ball out of the infield in play tonight. A strikeout, a pop out to short, and a ground out back to the mound. 2-0 on O'Malley. Shows bunt and takes a strike. 2-1, threaded through nicely by Robertson. That's a strike as well. Caught even more of the plate. 2-2 for O'Malley.
He's a pretty good base stealer, so you just as soon not have him on leading off an inning.
To shortstop, Anderson waits. And there's out number 1. O'Malley retired to lead off the 9th. You know, if Tim Anderson got jumpy there and thought about charging, that would have been a big problem, but he handled it nicely.
When you have an arm as strong as he has, you can wait back because you know that no matter how fast O'Malley is, you're going to be able to beat him. And Tim has a very strong arm.
Here's the 22-year-old Ketel Marte. Barrow trying to help out Robertson and didn't get the call. 1-0.
Marte's a good bunter with that in mind. Todd Frazier in on the grass, wide of the bag at third.
Sampson a strike. 1-1. Marte with his 6-game hit streak maybe on the line here.
Nick Vincent looking over the lineup card and who he's going to face when he comes into this.
That looked more like it was fit for a conference room than a bullpen. Look at a sheet, take a drink of water.
Yeah, just here you go. This is who you're going to face. This is what you're supposed to do.
3-1 to Marte, who has 8 steals this year. He also is somebody you'd like to keep off of first, with an eye to who could create a second base with his feet. Ball 4, 1 out walk to the 9-hitter Marte. We told you that if you decided to use the hashtag SoxPopuli, you would end up on the map. And there you are. Paul Stenquist, a Sox fan since 1958, watching in Bloomfield Hills, Michigan, outside of Detroit. Hi, Paul.
Bloomfield Hills, by the way, is a beautiful area. And it's not all that far from where we stay when we go to take on those Tigers, those dreaded Tigers in Detroit. And Sunday night we'll see us coasting in.
You never coast. You're always guns a-blazing. One out, Aoki dances out of the way. Ball 1. Well, he's had a marvelous night in left field and has saved the day twice for the Mariners.
Marte with 8 stolen bases, been thrown out 5 times. Martin overall is their best on the bases. But he made the last out in the 8th, so you don't have to worry about him for a while, and that was close at first base.
Marte didn't exactly slide. He more toppled into the bag.
We'll watch it again. He got him as he took a step toward second base. Now he got in. He's wearing that sliding glove on his left hand.
You know, some guys, as they dive back into the bag, they look very smooth and quick. That's not the case for Marte.
No.
A slower dive back into first than you would normally see. Fouled off by Aoki, 1-1. In case you're looking to the Sox 9th, top of the card, Eaton, Anderson, Abreu's schedule.
Aoki has always hit the Sox well. He came in, I believe the batting average was in the neighborhood of 456. He hasn't done much tonight, except the leadoff walk and a run scored and another throw to first. So where he dives back into first with his right hand, as you would expect, that sliding glove on his left hand, and that's probably going to be his lead hand into second.
Well, the good news is, too, if the pizza ends up ready during the inning, he can go and take it out. He can go grab it.
Indeed.
And a fan is on the field. So we will wait. There are 2 fans on the field. There is much more substantial drama to be had in a 6-6 tie in the 9th. And we will continue with the ball game.
Well, Aoki's going to take as much time as he can in the on-deck circle until they clear everything out. But You'd like to see David Robertson throwing a couple of warm-up pitches.
Fan will be escorted off. Robertson waits. Aoki waits. We wait. This play will not be under review in New York. We have a definitive result, and it's not a good one.
Not for
the people in question.
Well, if I'm Aoki here, waiting for this particular pitch from David Robertson, I'm looking fastball.
Just because
a little time has transpired since he threw his last pitch to this one.
There's another fan on the field.
And more time is going to transpire from the last pitch he threw to the next one.
So if we had the airtime to do it, we would show the court proceedings tomorrow for the three people who have done this in the ninth inning tonight. And you would think that would be a deterrent for that happening again. However, we don't have the airtime for them. We also don't have the airtime for the three people who decided to jump onto the field tonight uninvited.
And now David Robertson is going to throw some pitches, so that's a good part of this. He'd have a chance to loosen up and to make sure he stays warm with this extended time between pitches.
To be clear, just to finish the story here. If you jump on the field, you don't go home tonight.
Nope.
All right. Marte at first. It's 2-1 on Aoki. And now Sox security is on the field lining foul territory to make sure that that doesn't happen again. So here's how we got here. First inning, the Mariners got 2 runs. Sox raised that with 3 on 5 hits. So it's 3-2 after 1. Mariners got a run in the 4th. Robinson Cano a home run. 3-3. Then in the 6th, 3 runs in the top of the inning for the Mariners. Sox got 3 in the bottom of the 7th. And here we are tied at 6 in the 9th.
Well, this is kind of interesting. Different ways to loosen up. Yanner Navarro was bouncing up and down. Aoki is on his haunches. And David Robertson is still trying to throw that next pitch.
2-1. Runners off. Navarro the throw. It's late and a stolen base for Marte. He's in scoring position with 1 out.
He got a great jump. And there was no chance. Navarro made a good throw to second. But you see, he's got about a 3-step jump. And he's in well before the tag can be applied. He goes the old school feet first slide into second base.
He was in by a couple of steps. So 2-2 Robertson to Aoki. Swinging strike 3, 2 down.
Good curveball, biting down and in, no contact.
So Heredia, who pinch hit and singled in the 7th, gets his second at bat tonight. 9th inning, 2 out, 6-6, and a hook for a strike from Robertson. Again, the Sox will have the top of the lineup coming up in the home 9th. One strike pitch from Robertson. Outside.
Already is in the spot that Seth Smith inhabited.
Lefty got the start. On the ground, third base side. Frazier cuts it off, and the inning is over. 1 out walk, no harm done. Sox can get a win by touching home plate just once.
Game on for the 45th time. He's 3-3. His ERA 3.83. 52 strikeouts and 44 2/3. That's pretty good. He's walked only 10, so the control's been good. As you would expect, left-handers have hit him better than right-handers, but he has allowed 9 home runs. And he'll have to start with the top of the order in a game tied at 6.
It'll be Eaton, Anderson, and Abreu against Vincent. Starry night in Chicago that has seen ups and downs all night long. Eaton scored twice. He fouls this one off.
Vincent played collegiately at Palomar College and Long Beach State.
Fouled hard by Eaton on the ground. 0-2. If needed, Vincent can give the Mariners a couple innings. He's gone as much as 2 2/3 this year. Still 0-2 on Eaton.
went to the same junior college as Tyler Saladino, Palomar. In fact, talking with Tyler, he said when it's over for him, he wants to be a coach back at Palomar. He says he loves the enthusiasm of kids that age, and he'd love to be able to teach them.
2-2 for Eaton. Tyler went to junior college, then played collegiately some D1 baseball at Oral Roberts.
And the advantage is you go to a junior college, you can go into the pros. It's not a 3-year and then draft.
Popped up, back of home, out of play.
Palomar has a great program, and that fan has a souvenir.
Saladino has walked so far tonight, had an important fly ball in the 7th that was under review. Eaton, a flare, center field and down. Adam Eaton has a leadoff base hit in the 9th.
Second hit of the night. He led off the ball game with a base hit. He scored. He's got a base hit here in the 9th. That fastball was in off the plate, but he had to protect, too close to take, and dropped it in front of Aoki in left field.
Tim Anderson now. 3 hits tonight for Tim.
We've seen Anderson when called upon. He can bunt. He's got 4 sacrifices. He's swinging it real well, though, tonight.
He squares. He lays it down. Eaton on his way to second. Anderson's out. Abreu will come up. Now, if you're the Mariners, do you pitch to Abreu?
That's a perfect bunt, and he makes the play. And I wouldn't. Abreu's run means nothing. So to me, he goes to first base. Then you take your chances. But, and Scott Service apparently feels the same way.
So that's the counterpoint to the bunt there, is if you bunt Anderson, you take the bat out of both his hand and Abreu's hand.
That's, for me, I mean, wait, you get the winning run to second base, but Abreu will not have a chance to swing it. However, the man who did tie it with a base hit to left field in the 7th inning will have an opportunity to win it. And that's the man you're looking at, Todd Frazier.
Sox go by the book. Mariners go by the book. Two on, 1 out for Todd Frazier. Frazier against Vincent. Will this be the final batter tonight? Inside ball 1.
This came in the 7th. We told you it's a slider that didn't catch the outside corner. Aoki with no chance to cut down Anderson as he slides across with the 6th and tying run.
2-0 to Frazier. Eaton at second is the winning run. Two balls and a strike. Frazier, left field, fair ball. Here comes Eaton. Todd Frazier's the hero, and the Sox win in comeback fashion. 7-6 your final score. Well, I know we hear Sweet Home Chicago after Sox wins, but maybe some Frankie Valley tonight.
A tremendous comeback in this one. Down to a very good ball club, 6-3. Only to fight back to tie it, and Todd Frazier, who drives in 3 runs. 2 with a single in the 7th. His 80th run batted in, goes down the line to win it here in the 9th. They win it in dramatic fashion. They make a winner of David Robertson, and Seattle goes down to a very costly loss as Adam Eaton, who was aboard 3 times tonight, scoring twice, scoring in the 1st, scoring in the 9th.
So Frazier is the winner for the Sox tonight. 7-6 your final score, and what a game this evening.
I thought it was really exciting, and certainly the Sox showed you that this team is going to fight the rest of the way. It really doesn't matter what the standings say or what anything or anybody says, but this team is going to continue to fight. They showed it tonight against a good Seattle ball club, and you have to love the comeback, and you have to love Todd Frazier coming through with a couple of hits when this team really needed it.
Well, Todd is downstairs. He is with our Sierra Santos. 7-6 your final. And Todd, Sierra, take it away.
All right, so I got to ask, what felt better, tying it up or doing that?
Doing that, of course. It was good. I got a pitch to hit, kept my hands through, and ultimately did my job. So that's what I'm here to do. Pretty excited to get my first walk-off here, pick the team up, and away we go.
We're so used to associating you with the power, the long ball. How nice is it to contribute in the other ways, too?
It's good. It's good. Getting the RBI. That's cold, man.
Was that retribution?
Yeah, you got me back. Keep that up. No, that was nice. Oh, God, we'll take that every day. But no, it is. It's good to help out. It's good to, produce not only with the home runs. I'm trying to get a positive attitude out of these last month and a half, and hopefully we can do some damage team-wise. And good start here against the Mariners today.
All right, you got 3 more.
Yeah.
You look a little cold.
Are you all right?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good. I'll send it back to Jason and Steve back upstairs.
We're going to get you a raincoat down there, Sierra. Way to dodge that. Well done. 7-6 your final score. And how about Todd Frazier?
Well, certainly he was very happy. He was the first one to tell you that this is his first walk-off hit of the year. And it came just at a wonderful time because this team battled back in this game. It's not like this was a tie game all the way. It was a game that if a team had quit, they wouldn't have come back in this ball game. They didn't tonight. They took advantage of an error. 300 runs, but 3 runs nonetheless, maybe in a situation where at other times in the season they wouldn't have scored. They scored tonight to tie it up and then won it without going into extra innings. And David Robertson, his record 4-2. Nice to see.
Sox do it in comeback fashion. 3 runs in the 7th, 1 more in the 9th. And 7-6 your final score. For our director, Jim Angio, producer, John Walgren, associate producer, Chris Kampka, tech manager, Mark Harper, and the executive producer, Jim Corno Jr. He's Steve Stone. I'm Jason Benetti saying so long from U.S. Cellular Field. Coming up next, Subaru Postgame Live with Chuck and Bill. You've been watching Chicago White Sox baseball on Comcast Sportsnet. What a game.